up, everybody? This is CasestudyQB, and we are the political junkies back at it again. And yeah, you know, Biden's in here in his first couple of days, but I was ready on day one for my $2,000 checks. I don't care what anybody says. $2,000 day one should have been right there. What you gonna say, Gabe?
This is the back to brunch podcast. This is where everybody goes back to sleep.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let me introduce my guys. We got John, Felipe, Gabe, Carlito, Izzy, Bendon in the back, watching our Twitch. And John, how you feeling, my man?
He's feeling muted.
Okay, Felipe, how you feeling?
I'm good. I'm breathing clean. I'm breathing nice.
All right.
Sleeping well.
Yeah.
It's a whole new America, bro.
The whole new world. My man is in Aladdin. Whole new world. Anyway, Gabe, how you feeling, my man?
Is the 1 year anniversary tomorrow of the late great Kobe Bryant, the GOAT of the Lakers. 1 year tomorrow, so it's bittersweet. And we're we just always remember the legend, and we try to just keep that his mentality, the Mamba mentality in everything we do, whether it's a podcast, whether it's work, whether it's family, you want to be a Mamba mentality in everything. Yeah, definitely. Carlito.
I'm gonna hold my tongue just because, of the day, but don't get me started. Okay, you know how we always do we have our own fantasy basketball league and we always getting at it. But since I mentioned basketball and he mentioned basketball, I want to talk about my Hawks again because the Pope asked for a jersey from the Hawks because the New Jersey had the MLK thing I talked about last show. The Pope asked for it himself so he could be blessed over it and sign it. You know what I'm saying? So
Pope needs his holy drip, bro.
For saying, we need everything, divine intervention, whatever it is, man. I'll take it.
I hear you on that one. Izzy, how you feeling, my man?
I'm good. I'm ready to get started.
Let's get started.
I'm looking at the live. I'm not seeing the live right now. I see 5 waiting. I saw 8 waiting at one point, but I don't
see the live. I see the live.
See
we got some people chatting in live.
All right. I'm gonna refresh.
Yeah, I see Twitch.
We're going to get this started with the trivia right here. We're going to get the first question. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. Here we go. Here's the first question for our first trivia, and for everyone, we're going to be doing the trivia throughout the show. So we're just going to do one question, then we're going to do a segment, then we're going to go back to trivia, and then do another segment. We're going to go back and forth. So we're going to have fun throughout the show. So the first question is, who tweeted this quote? By rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement, President Biden indicates he's more interested in views of the citizen of Paris than the jobs of the citizens of Pittsburgh. All right. So if you know the answer to my political junkies on the show, raise your hand. Okay, we got 2 people. Felipe, you know the answer?
I think so, but I don't want to sound like an idiot, so I'll wait.
So John,
that's like every week. So.
John, you got the answer? Or you gonna guess or what?
I think, something like that, probably Rubio.
Okay. Izzy, you know the answer?
I don't know the answer, but I'm gonna guess the bootlicker. Ted Cruz.
Okay. So let me go with Carlito and Gabe. Who's it?
Ted Cruz.
Yeah, the man with the ugly wife.
Ted Cruz, the man who let Trump insult his wife and then went and made campaign calls for him.
Yeah. And that's exactly the picture. Let me go back real quick. That's the picture of him there phone backing for Trump. But anyway,
have you guys seen the beef with Ted Cruz and what's this guy's name? Seth Rogen?
No.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty fire. Like they were going back and forth on Twitter.
Not safe for work.
I think it started with this tweet. And then Seth Rogen was like tweeting him back like you're a freaking fascist and this and that. It's pretty gold. It's gold.
With more colorful language.
All right.
A lot more.
The response that AOC had to this, this is the tweet right here that Ted Cruz put out, right? And then the AOC responded, nice tweet, Senator Cruz. Quick question. Do you also believe Geneva Convention was about the views of the citizens of Geneva? Because basically she's making the point that just because it's the Paris Climate Agreement, it doesn't mean it has to do with the citizens of Paris. It's just the place where all the leaders of the world had the meeting there. and that's it. So I mean, it just shows the
I'm sure
idiocracy.
I'm sure Ted Cruz knew that though. He is disingenuous as they come. He wants to make people mad. He knows for a fact.
I like to just believe he's a stupid idiot that he just really did not know, but I'll take that. All right, let's move on to Carlito's Rapid Fire, where we're gonna be just hitting up about 5 articles and rapid fire. He's gonna talk about it real quick, and then somebody's gonna respond. Go ahead, Carlito.
All right, real quick. First article, Silicon Valley takes the battle space by Jonathan Guire, the American prospect. Through an obscure startup named Rebellion Defense, former Google CEO Eric Schmidt attempts to buy his way into the Biden White House. What do you think about this, Izzy?
There's actually a history with this guy. He's been he's been an advisor to many government, many presidential campaigns. Right now, he's trying to get into the Biden cabinet. He's definitely advised the Trump cabinet, the Obama cabinet. But I mean, he's also a board member of this Rebellion Defense company, and he's a huge contributor to their success. So he's definitely straddling the line between the defense contracting agency and the government. He has a lot of power in both. And, I mean, it's just capitalists being capitalists, really. I mean, at the end of the day, this guy, he's everything that's wrong with both government and capitalism, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was surprised. Well, like many people were surprised by this because they had a person from Uber, 2 from Amazon, 1 from Google, and then 2 from Rebellion Defense that nobody even heard of before. That is an AI company. So it's like weird that they came out of nowhere. Well, it's not weird because we know Eric Schmidt is a heavy hitter.
Yeah, he's trying to push AI hard in the government, especially when it comes to defense, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I'm not a defense guy, but we do need to up our technology, not necessarily for the offensive, but at least for the defensive. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm afraid of him being able to have all that power in both public and private, and what that's going to mean for the defense spending that we already just overdue as it is.
Next article, Biden lifts healthcare plan from insurance lobbyists by Andrew Perez and Julia Rock of the Daily Poster. So the incoming president's plan mimics an insurance industry letter instead of pushing a promised public option or Democratic legislation to expand Medicare. So Biden going to Biden, right, Case?
Yeah,
Dem's gonna dem.
Yeah, totally 100%. Matter of fact, I just want to show this website real quick. Is the Partnership for America's Healthcare Future, and it's one of the organizations where they lobbied the government to get rid of the public option, and they're also against actually they have Medicare for All advertisements against that was in favor of Biden in South Carolina. So that that was the first state that really launched Biden. So they was really helping out Biden with that, and basically it was talking about how I want to show something from the article real quick. I can't find it. All right, but yeah, I totally 100% agree with you on that. There's a lot of money that went into this. You hear about Biden that he's already saying the public option. He's not mentioning that anymore, and that's one of the first things that went out the window when Obamacare was trying to be negotiated. Even Dennis Kucinich was trying to push to have that placed in there, and he was playing the Joe Manchin, but from the left. And Obama took Dennis Kucinich in his airplane, went to I believe he's from Ohio, and basically gave him the basically told him that you have to vote for this, even though it doesn't have the public option. And he voted for it, and look what happened to him. He got taken out of
in layman's terms, for those who really don't understand the situation, what Obama did back then was he went right instead of going left. So when there was one guy fighting for the public option, instead of fighting against the Democrats that were holding out and that they didn't want to give a vote unless the public option was included, instead of fighting against them who were further right, he fought against the one guy that was a little bit further left and was fighting for a public option.
And that's what we're going to need with against Joe Manchin this time around. We're going to have to move him to the middle. But anyway, let's move on to the next topic.
Next topic. Well, real quick, I want to shout out Robert Wilson. He said about AI should be monitored by humans before spreading information. When an AI identified Black Congresspeople as criminal, it's not perfect. And that's something where the visual facial recognition is we know about a lot of the AI algorithms when they're made by people, with a bias, conscious or subconscious. They don't see everything. So, that's something we got to keep in mind.
Essentially made by all white men.
Yeah. Shout out to Robert Wilson, man. Always in the chat. Much love to you. All right, go ahead, Carlito.
All right. GOP Representative Andy Harris tries to bring gun into House chamber by Matt Fuller at the HuffPost. So Republicans keep complaining about the new metal detectors inside the House chamber, and now we know why. We've seen a lot of stories about this. They either going around the metal detectors, then they put the velvet rope wires around on the sides so they don't go in. So they just keep on going straight through, setting them off. They don't want to get wounded. A lot of crap that we put up with in every situation for the safety, and they refuse to. So what you got to say about that, Felipe?
I have a quick comment. The headline is Republicans mad that laws actually apply to them. It's just how it is.
It's law and order. We're a country of law and order, and they need to learn to follow the law and order.
Yeah, they need to follow DC law. They need to be prosecuted for that.
Oh, man. It's like everything. They see how the laws don't apply. Already the FBI was saying today, not the FBI, a report came out that the FBI might not go after everybody from the insurrectionists already. They're already trying to let go. They're saying that you're just too many to handle some crap like that. When last year, when it was protesting for Black Lives Matter, it was 10,000, 14,000 people I think got arrested over the summer. So it's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
So next article. How many vaccine shots go to waste? Several states aren't counting. By Ryan Gabrielson, Carol Chan, and Molly Simon at ProPublica. So the CDC says health facilities should report on use and spoiled COVID-19 vaccines, but many are failing to do so. At a time there aren't enough shots to meet demand, significant numbers may be going in the trash. So it's ridiculous. The article has a few examples of facilities that they just don't know what to do with the vaccines. On top of that, we have a report that Pfizer is counting like the top-off section of the vaccine vials as an extra dose, even though the kits that are sent out don't have the proper syringes to be able to get everything out of it. So they're going to be sending out fewer or less vaccine that they say originally, and we're going to be wasting more. So, it's kind of a terrible situation right now.
I think to top off on that, when the Biden administration went in, it leaked recently last week that they are starting from square one when it comes to vaccine distribution. There was zero plan in place, absolutely nothing. They said it's easier to start from scratch than go on what the Trump administration had left in office.
Oh, and not only that, I heard today that when it came to like figures and charts that Trump was coming out with, the person in charge of giving that information to Trump and the White House, they didn't know where that was coming from. So he was getting a separate set of information from somebody else and putting that out there. So they were definitely trying to hide, the real deal from the people. And a lot of them were buying it, unfortunately. Next article, Proud 22 is here and is already worse than expected, by Alexander Salmon at the American Prospect. So not only are gig companies gouging workers and consumers, but traditional firms are benefiting from the substandard labor regime as well. So Prop 22 was a law that passed in California that created a third category of workers for the gig economy that are neither full-time employees nor independent contractors, and they're not eligible for unemployment insurance, no guaranteed state minimum wage, no overtime pay, a lot of things that they lose from that. So Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash were the people pushing for this, but now companies that are not even related to the gig economy are jumping on it. So in January, grocery giants Vons, Pavilions, and Albertsons announced that they're firing their full-time benefit-receiving delivery staff, venerated just months ago as essential workers, and replacing them with subcontractors from DoorDash, which has secured a nationwide deal to take over the service. And only unionized staff was sparing the layoffs. So that's the thing, we need unions in all these occupations. That's the only thing that can save them, man, because they're going to try to, save a buck any way they can.
But you telling me that a company went and tried to find like a loophole, like to try to save money? Oh, I would never guess that.
Who knew? Oh no!
I mean, we predicted this. As soon as like California allowed them to do it, we predicted that everybody's going to jump, and then every other state is going to jump on that.
Yeah. So that's it for the rapid fire, guys.
Yeah. All right. I want to show this nice picture before we go on to the next segment, before we go on to the trivia. And this is a picture of Hillary Clinton saying, "Wait up, nobody likes you," to Bernie. And as we know since the inauguration to this day, they still have news segments talking about Bernie Sanders. And somebody's putting a mural up with Bernie Sanders with that famous picture that was a meme. And then also there was a picture of somebody getting a tattoo with it.
Damn, that's a little too far now. I don't know about tattoo.
Yeah, two people had a tattoos. Like, I was like, wow.
Gotta pour one out for the homie Bernie. If only he would stop calling Joe his friend Joe Biden and would actually attack him, we might have had a different outcome.
The second worst politician in history.
Second worst, yeah.
All right, so
but also he's raising millions for people in Vermont who are not able to feed themselves just off of this one meme. Yeah. Basically, he says, "How can I make money off of this?" and then just give it all away. The dude is. A politician does something like this.
As a guy, it's like the nicest guy, the dude that really cares about the people, but still doesn't take the fact that he's the second worst politician in history.
When are you going to forgive him? Come on, man.
Bernie is Bernie. He's always been himself. You guys were surprised when he didn't attack Biden. It was clear as day. He can't change who he's been for 40 years. That's what people revere about him. And
funny that you said that, but Biden could definitely. Bernie can't change, but according to you, Biden can.
Because Biden's mind is gone. He's not even the same person anymore.
Yeah. Let's get on to the trivia, though. Let's move on to the trivia. This is the next question right here. Which Justice Democrat joined a Hunts Point market workers strike on the day of the presidential inauguration? Now,
man, that's too easy.
This is way too easy.
Yeah, I want to see easy, man.
Who doesn't know this?
Case with the softballs this week.
They say this a gimme. You know what it is? You're trying to make it easy for us so we can have a chance to keep up with Mia.
Yeah. Let's see who gets to. Let's just give it to the chat. Anybody in the chat?
Yeah.
Who could first one to answer this one? Which Justice Democrat joined the Hunts Point market worker strike?
Richard Torres.
You gotta
Calling all red.
Calling all red.
Nancy knows the answer.
Oh man.
Okay. All right. So let's.
Got it. Nancy with the.
That was the easy one.
The Kobe shot.
There we go. AOC working hard on Inauguration Day. I was kind of surprised, and she almost got a little bit of heat. I think we knew that, what's his name, Chris Cuomo, when she went on his show, and he actually suggested, like, what happened? You don't like, Biden? Like, he's trying to instigate something, but I think he was joking. I think he was, but, the media always trying to start stuff. All right.
Media's got to start drama. They just lost their biggest moneymaker.
Yeah, Trump. How do you guys feel? Let me ask that question real quick. How you guys feel about the fact that Trump has literally his voice has been taken and we haven't heard anything from this guy? The media would have jumped all over it. What you guys think? Any thoughts?
You know that feeling when you wake up from a nightmare and you're like, oh my God. And then you like take a deep breath and you realize that everything's okay. That's how it feels not waking up to a rage tweet at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
that's great.
I don't know, man. I'd rather have him on Twitter telling me what he's doing than having all this unknown that he's just gonna come up one day and be like, boom.
Nah.
He's supposed to be coming up with this Patriot.
I don't wake up at 2 in the morning to check Twitter, so that's not me. But yeah, I want him gone, man, because he's insurrectionist, man. On his tweets, he's just rallying people up, and look what he caused. So I want him gone, but he'll be back. Don't worry, he'll be back.
Yeah. He might come back with the Patriot Party. That's what apparently he's starting a third party, and we'll see how that works out for him.
That would be glorious.
The Q Party.
I would love to see 4 million people voted for him.
I would love to see him split the Republican Party. I would love to see it. So, Felipe, you got our next segment where we're going to be just talking about Biden, having a discussion about his first couple of days.
So
the Biden appreciation segment.
No malarkey.
Everyone feel free to mute now if you want.
Yeah. This is the point of the podcast where you go to the back.
We got a drink. It'll be a long 4 years. But
before Felipe starts, hold on. Before Felipe starts, make sure you like, share, subscribe if you like what you're seeing. Thanks everybody on YouTube. We want you to like now and subscribe because you might not like in 5 minutes. So
we need to keep the corporate sponsors happy.
All right, Felipe, let me give like a little preamble for you, man. So this is something that I'm in favor of Felipe doing, because knowing us, who we are, we're going to be pooping on Biden all year and all next 4 years, man. Mm-hmm. So it's only fair to say about the nice things he has done in the last, 4 days, whatever. Because it's not gonna be like this for a long time, man. So let's just appreciate, be nice for once, and don't be a hater the whole time.
No, it's not even being nice. It's just acknowledging that he's doing things that aren't the worst. But that's why I'm appreciating.
Not even that. Some things that are actually good. Yeah. Some things that are actually good.
It's just hitting it like right down the line. He froze a bunch of rules that Trump passed in his final days in presidency. He rejoined the climate accords, the Paris Climate Accords. He passed an executive order to promote racial equity. He ended the Muslim ban, mask mandate, just government-wide COVID-19 response, revised immigration enforcement policies, undid regulatory restrictions on federal agencies, executive order incorporating undocumented immigrants into the census, which, if you hadn't heard about, Trump was pushing really hard to block undocumented immigrants. And the census has been dividing people who they believed weren't citizens to try and lower the count on the census in very like immigrant heavy areas or democratic areas. He canceled the Keystone Pipeline, which Republicans are so angry about, that, oh my God, he lost 70,000 jobs that would have ended in a year or so. And it's for the good of the environment and indigenous lands that Americans really have no right to infringe on. He passed an executive order banning discrimination on gender identity or sexual orientation, memorandum revamping regulatory review, an executive order mandating an ethics pledge for government appointees. He pulled funds from the border wall, paused student loans, which hopefully leads to forgiving student loans anywhere between 10 or 50,000, depending on how left he decides to be. Reinstated deferred enforcement for Liberians, memorandum strengthening DACA. He let them be here and he gave them a path to residency, which is something that seems so simple. The best people that you allow into the country to study, you're just going to kick them out when they're done. No, it's ridiculous. And that was day one. He has not stopped since then. And he has continued going and going. Day two was very much COVID-19. He passed an executive order allowing people who quit their jobs or refuse to return to their jobs to claim unemployment if they felt unsafe returning to their job, which also incredible. Just it gives people who are in the worst situations something positive that they have. And then it just has kept going. He has not stopped. He reversed the transgender military ban. He reinstated COVID-19 travel restrictions, and he's promoting Buy American. He's just hitting all the points, and for that, I think he deserves one day of appreciation from leftists.
Where's everybody's $1,400?
2000 it was supposed to be.
But I mean, come on, let's not start this.
Let's not see. I don't know. Biden hasn't been a senator for how many years?
Yeah. So Alan Ambrister on the chat said, "What haven't Democrats talked about redoing the census?" That is something that I heard about recently. That they are trying to make sure to cover undocumented people in the census. But even when Trump tried to fight it, or try to take him out, the Democrat did fight it. So that's something positive.
They're also calling for an increase of their funding, and they've extended the time to actually ensure that the census is accurate and not just rush to get done.
Okay. Now, some of the bad things. So I don't know if anybody else have any bad things about what Biden has done.
Yeah, we're not talking about that today.
It's appreciation. It's day
5. Are we not? Okay.
It's appreciation for Biden.
Let's go to the next question. Let's go to a clip.
I wanted to have a discussion on it, but okay, just for today.
Filibuster?
Just for today. All right.
It's a filibuster.
We're going to go into the next trivia question. Wait, hold on one second. I went to the wrong. Here we go. Boom. So the next trivia question.
How bad is Biden? No, sorry. What?
U.S. Representatives Adriano Espelta, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
It's SB, yeah.
I do not know how. Is that okay? God bless. AOC, Richie Torres, Jamal Bowman, and Mondale Jones said their constituents are afraid of losing health care access due to a contract dispute between United Healthcare and it's supposed to say Moderna, but it's not. Okay. So the question is, those 5 people, one could be missing. Maybe I added a name, maybe I did not. Or is it all of those 5 people?
Yeah, see, you should have said nothing, man, because already I was thinking that, and now you just gave it away.
Maybe, or maybe I'm tricking you. We'll see.
Well, 4 of them say yes. Richie Torres says no. So yes.
So who says true? Who says false? Let's do a run.
False. It's false.
Everybody says
Richie
false.
Torres there.
All right. So the answer is true. It's true. So all of those people, and there it is, Montefiore. That's the other. So basically, this is what's happening in this article. United Healthcare and Montefiore, they're having a contract dispute, and because of that, United Healthcare is the insurance, and Montefiore is the provider. And because of the dispute about, I believe, 60,000 people. What was the number said? Okay, the number's not there. It's about 60,000 people who are in flux, like they don't have no insurance right now. So basically,
show me Torres' name in there.
Yeah, that threw everybody off, including Mia. It threw Mia off. She said false too.
Yeah. It's all the way at the bottom, but his name is in the article. It's all the way at the bottom. But basically, they came together. They wrote a letter, and they basically told them to cut it out. So they pulled a Hillary Clinton. They said, "You guys better cut this out." But hopefully they do have influence. So I'll be monitoring. It will be interesting to see what the results come from this situation. All right.
Well, Montefiore is big in the Bronx.
Yeah, exactly.
They basically own all the freaking hospitals here and all that. Yep. So the fact that this would be coming from AOC, I think, has some good pull.
Yeah, and all those people are in the Bronx area. They're all in that same area, so that's why they came together on that letter. All right, we're going to go to the first clip.
Jessica, you heard Senator Rubio there. How do you respond to his criticism of President Biden suggesting he's talking like a moderate but acting much more progressive?
Well, I'd like Senator Rubio to back up what he's saying because there's absolutely no evidence of it. Everything that President Biden has done in his first few days in office is exactly what he said he was going to do on the campaign trail. And the reason that he won an overwhelming coalition of Republican voters, too, the right of center voters, white suburbanites mostly, who are moderates and felt comfortable with him versus a Bernie Sanders. None of these executive orders look anything like the Green New Deal or Medicare for All. They're all things that are, first of all, popular with a majority of Americans, including raising the minimum wage, legal status for the 11 million who are here right now is undocumented, working for Dreamers, etc. So President Biden is doing what he said he wanted to do, and the right continues to try to paint him as some radical person, but unfortunately America knows Joe Biden. They've known him for 48 years now of public service, and they know that his core is moderate.
Vince, how do you assess President Biden's early actions?
Well, let me pause it there. Yeah, I just wanted to play that part. Yeah, so basically this guy, this lady, she's making it seem like it's a good thing that Biden is against Medicare for All, which has up as much as 90% popularity with Democrats, 50% with Republicans, and a Green New Deal. Well, I don't know about the polling for Green New Deal, but she's just totally trying to make it a good thing that Biden is moderate.
Since today is Biden Appreciation Day, Biden is the greatest.
No, all right. I just think she's trying to combat the attacks, which, as you all know, are baseless. You guys know Biden's not some crazy secret lefty. Biden's Biden, and everyone knows who Biden is, and it's just a disingenuous attack.
But for her to be on national TV and be like, none of these things are the Green New Deal. These are all popular policies. Look at the narrative she's setting just by saying that alone. None of progressive policies are popular. Are you crazy? Have you ever looked at polling for any of them?
This is something that, I understand what she's doing, but the election is over. People already voted for Biden. So why don't you have to backtrack so much?
This is what Democrats do. Right. Democrats always find a way to.
Honestly, If it includes attacking Marco Rubio, I'll allow just about anything.
But she didn't attack Marco Rubio. She was attacking.
She's combating. She's going against Marco Rubio.
Yeah. That's what he mentioned at the beginning. But what I would also like to say is that Biden also, he did get some Republican, but it wasn't like a majority of Republicans or like half of the Republicans. He got a just enough, to get him over the edge or whatever. I think it was in like the suburbs or whatever, like those that Trump was
but I mean, this is the narrative that they're going to push. But in reality, like every other time, it's the base that got him over the win. It was people that didn't want Trump. They didn't nobody liked Biden except for Felipe and some of the people.
Biden was like my fifth choice. I was just happy that he was good.
But in general, Biden won because he's not Trump. It wasn't because people know him or like him or whatever. It was because the left sucked it up and voted for him. That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is the reason why when 2022 they're gonna lose the House, because they just.
I don't think it's that easy. I don't think it's that easy. I think it depends. Someone wrote in a New York Times article.
You'll see.
Democrats need to work big, fast, and simple. That's everything that they got to pump out for the next 2 years.
And you think that's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Here's the problem. The Democrats didn't run on anything in 2020, except we're not Trump. And unless there's a Trump in there's going to be no Trump in 2022 unless he runs for senator or something, which is unprecedented. But there's going to be no Trump in 2022. We have to have some kind of wins in these years, and not just identity wins, not just as much as we love the Dreamers, as much as we want all that. It needs to be something that's going to get the entire country to come out again and vote for those down ballot candidates. There's not going to be a president at the top of a ticket in 2022. So what's going to happen?
Right.
So what's going to happen? Yeah.
Georgia took away the playbook. Their playbook was Mitch will block everything, and now you don't have Trump, you don't have Mitch McConnell. So what are you going to use as your base?
You know what it is? You know what they're going to do? They're going to romanticize the hell out of the most menial things. They're going to open up movie theaters and restaurants. And by then, in theory, if it's a competently run government, people will have been vaccinated.
That doesn't get people to vote, dude.
Yes, it does. Do you realize how much people miss regular life?
People are not going to go to vote for that.
If they gift them reality back, people will be so excited that it could win them 2022.
What about the millions that are losing their jobs? They keep kicking the can down the road. They keep kicking let's extend the foreclosure.
That was Felipe's talking. Listen, I can't stand you guys. You're making me stand with Felipe too long right now. Stop it, right? But that's what he said, man. If we have a vaccine and businesses are opening up, that means that people are going back to work. People would like that, But what I think what they're going to do is instead of, they might run some of that, but the main thing is going to be like, we can't let Mitch get back into power. That's what they're going to say.
All right. Yeah. Let's move on to the next clip. Let's go on to the next clip just to keep this conversation going or segment moving. All right, so this is going to be interesting.
But what we also need to remember here, too, and this is going to be the challenge for President Biden in terms of bringing the country together. All the things that Rob just said are absolutely right in terms of what happened up on Capitol Hill. It's inexcusable. I said that I thought that it was impeachable and that these things are just wrong. But also, the violence that's happening in other parts of the country are wrong, too, George. And the president needs to speak out about both. You can't just continue to talk about what happened on Capitol Hill, which deserves to be spoken about, and all the facts need to come out, and those that are responsible need to be held responsible criminally and politically. But so does the violence that's happening in other parts of the country as well, George. And we cannot allow that to be two different standards. And so one of the challenges for the president is going to be for him to speak very clearly when there are other violent acts that continue to go on in the country, and to be able to say that's wrong too. Peaceful protest is one thing. Violence that destroys lives, destroys property, and destroys the peaceful enjoyment of our country is also wrong.
All right, you get the gist of what he's trying to say.
This is why I can't stand Republicans, man. Like, what were they when Charlottesville happened? Every time there's a Democrat in power, they always want to talk about, let's unite the country. Let's unite the country. And why don't we always talk about everything else? But when they do all their other stuff, and that Trump didn't condone and everything with Charlottesville, where was Chris Christie and all of them? None of them came out and says that's bad, that's wrong. They were all like, Oh yeah, the left does it too.
Chris Christie is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man of bad takes. He has never sounded right in his entire life. He has always sounded like a pathetic idiot, and that's just how he's been.
This guy,
his entire life.
Man, I wanted to curse him out so bad because
every time
this dude is just. I mean, it took him catching COVID to finally say something bad about Trump, and now that he's recovered, he's back to the same old crap. He's just full of it.
100%, 100%. Agree with that. All right, let's go on to the trivia question. Try to make this bigger for you, everyone. Which government agency known for modern concentration camps honored MLK Day on Twitter? So if you know this, hold it to yourself. I gave a hint there with the modern concentration camp. I gave a hint.
You gave it away.
Yeah, I gave it away. Everybody knows. Does anybody who do not know? Yeah. Anybody not know? And in the chat, throw it out there. Let's see who gets it first again. John, you look like you're still wondering. What do you know?
I told you I'm here. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
All right. So we're ready to give the answer. Did anybody in the chat give it?
I said Homeland.
Security says Allen.
Nope, not Homeland.
No.
What?
Yeah. Somebody said it.
There it is, bro. Nancy.
Rancher got it.
Nancy, she's with the Kobe shot today, 2 for 2.
All right, so here is the tweet from ICE. Today we honor Dr. King's message of hope and justice and equality. And they definitely got flamed. I think AOC flamed them for that. All right, so
and they deserve every bit.
Abolish ICE. We don't need it. We already have like Border Patrol and many other agencies that can handle that. ICE is just a modern day Gestapo, so we just got to get rid of them.
100%. Go ahead, Izzy.
Oh no, I lost the. You took the tweet off, but I mean they're talking about. I forget what buzzwords they use, but there's nobody either within ICE or within ICE concentration camps that has hope, feels like they're being treated equally, or whatever the other third buzzword was. I mean, it's just a complete show of BS. Sorry.
No, you're absolutely right, and that's an excellent point. And that's why I'm so glad that AOC got her. All right, so that was the last trivia question for this week. And I wanted to discuss, before I go to the next clip, I wanted to ask you guys something I was thinking about recently, right? I'm thinking about a strategy that the Democrats should use to just hammer the Republican Party. And every time, similar to, there's another clip, maybe I'll play it, about how these the Republican Party did not like do anything to those insurrectionists within their party. You know, we got about 100 in the House, got Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz in the Senate, and
Rick Scott.
Nothing happened to them. And Rick Scott, all those other people, nothing happened to them. I'm sure there's more people in the Senate. And when the Democrats had Al Franken, he had a scandal and an issue that happened, whether you agree with it or not, they got rid of him. Like, he resigned. They didn't, it's just ridiculous to see how the Democrats hold their party responsible. And something compared to insurrectionists, getting rid of our democracy, taking over the government. I would hate to see what would have happened if the Republicans had the House and they had the Senate and then Biden win. Would we be here still with the situation that we got? What you guys think?
They never, all this stuff, the FBI wouldn't even be investigating anymore, man. That's what would have happened.
And they would not have seated Biden. They would have had the vote, and the vote would have said, okay, Biden, he didn't win the election rightfully. Even though that's not in the Constitution that you could just vote overcome the will of the people. So they might have really tried to keep Trump in there.
I mean, the GOP, not only are they the senators are acting like they don't care about domestic terrorism. Mm-hmm. The Arizona GOP is censuring McCain and who else? A couple other politicians.
Yeah. Because
they actually stand for truth and not getting rid of the United States government as we know it. And now the Oregon GOP, they also had a formal resolution calling the attack on the Capitol a false flag.
Wow, it's absolutely nuts. So this is my idea. The Democrats should, whenever they talk about unity, because that's what the Republicans are talking about now. We have Marco Rubio, who said that statement. We have other people saying, oh, Biden, he doesn't seem to want unity because of, Bernie Sanders is trying to get Medicare for all. He's trying to do a lot of progressive stuff. And they're saying, oh, because Bernie's doing that and Biden might do it, that's not showing unity for us. So what the Democrats should say, you know what? Mitch McConnell and the leadership in the House, Kevin, you guys need to deal with the Republicans, the insurrectionists in your party. And until then, we're not going to even come to you guys for any kind of help or trying to, right now Biden is trying to put his hand out there and try to get Republican votes. No, do not ask for any of their votes. You are now the insurrectionist party until you solve and do something. I don't care if it's as little as censoring those 100 people in the House and in the Senate, or I would love to see them get kicked out. But I doubt that's going to happen. But at least censor. Go ahead, Carlito.
This is why every time, I try to be, positive about some things, but I'm very real about I try to be real about everything. But whenever anybody says this Democrats is so dumb and blah, 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 they're not. I don't think they really want to have too much power, because then they'll have no excuse to do what the people actually ask for. So, because this is very simple. All they really have to do is be honest and straightforward and not be a coward and just call them what they are. They're supporting terrorists, they're supporting insurrectionists, and just say that every time they go any cable TV show, whenever they tweet, they should have it on their letterhead. Whenever they send an email, it should say Mitch McConnell and this other Republican support insurrectionists, and then whatever spiel.
I'm gonna condense it way down and make it much simpler. Every email starts with, "We do not negotiate with terrorists." Wow. Good morning and thank you for this.
Thank you.
Nothing else.
As crazy as that is, I agree with Felipe. I think the Republican Party, as it stands right now, they only care about power. And as you can see by how many Republicans voted to overturn the election or tried to protest to make that happen, they really only care about one thing. They don't care about the constituents. They don't care about the well-being of the country. They don't care about anything except maintaining power by any means necessary. And what's scary now is that we're seeing words coming out of the Biden administration like, we need unity, we need to look to pass things with 60 votes. We already tried that. Obama tried, and he negotiated with Republicans to try to get just one of them to sign on the ACA, on the Affordable Care Act, to pass health care. And not one Republican voted with him. And he negotiated, and he took things out, and he took out the public option. He kept moving further that way. You can't negotiate with terrorists, just like Felipe said. So in this case, this time around, you have to learn from those things, whether it comes to legalizing marijuana, raising the minimum wage, $2,000 checks. You can't negotiate with them. You have to say, this is what it is. We have the votes, and we're going to pass this bold agenda.
Mitch McConnell has the same power that he had as a leadership. I don't understand why Democrats they're going to lose. We know the GOP always do a good job of marketing and creating the slogan, right? They went and painted all Biden and all these people as socialism. And everybody that has common sense know that they are not socialists, and they're definitely not to the left. But they did a great job in it. So here the Democrats have that opportunity. If it was the other way around, the attack acts that the GOP would have done with the Democrats, they would have destroyed them.
Listen, 100%. It's the same attack as they already had over here for Warnock. Every single time Kelly Loeffler said Warnock, it started with the radical Reverend Warnock. Every single time he always say radical right before said his name. So, and the ads that she was running over here, they've been doing it. They always did it. They're gonna keep doing it. We just got to learn from it, man. The hard thing is that it's easy and simple to just be against something and just hate. It's simple to make a slogan, but it's more complex when you're talking about real policy. But at least they could just call them out, man.
The insurrectionist Republican Party
spent 4 years dividing the party, and all of a sudden they want unity. So unity doesn't exist. They need to go in and pass agenda to get a chance to win again in 2022 and 2024. If not, they're going to lose big and not going to.
One point that has me with just a sliver of hope is that even Chuck Schumer, the pathetic excuse of a senator, Chuck Schumer, hasn't taken nuking the filibuster off the table. Yeah, he's still in negotiations. He's still doing that, but he's holding that.
Yeah, but that's what I was about to go to. Yeah, Felipe, real quick. That's what exactly I was about to make that point. That Mitch McConnell right now, he's filibustering right now with the fact that he and Chuck Schumer, they're supposed to come together and create the rules for the next cycle of the, the Senate House rules. And he's saying, unlike before, where they've never put the filibuster as a consequence of creating the rules, or he's trying to put that you must keep the filibuster in place. Chuck Schumer is like, no, we've never had to have that stipulation. Right?
But this is ridiculous that Mitch McConnell is like, Mitch McConnell is filibustering in order to keep the filibuster.
He's calling shots. Like, Mitch McConnell's acting like he's a leader. Like, dude, like, I don't have to negotiate with you. Like, here's the deal, take it or leave it, and this is where we're moving on.
No, Mitch McConnell is giving the exact argument on why the filibuster is the death of democracy. He is campaigning against the filibuster by filibustering the filibuster.
Listen, since we're talking about that, I didn't get a chance to read the whole thing, but I was reading a little something about the history of the filibuster. And as you can imagine, about everything else in this country, it came down to racism, because the filibuster wasn't around, it wasn't framed as it is used now. But I think it was the guy Calhoun from South Carolina thing, the guy that we talked about before, that basically put it on steroids. And it was basically talking about giving minority rule. We talk about minority rights for like people that need, to be helped, people that are, down low on the power structure. But he was talking about minority rights for the slaveholders of the South. And since they were losing more and more power, he strengthened the filibuster in order to give the racist South more power.
Yeah. But the thing about the filibuster was the original intent was the person will go up there and they'll speak until they pass out. The amount of time that somebody could go without eating or drinking water and things like 48 hours, and that would be it. But apparently recently, around 1993, when Clinton was in power, it just became the threat of the filibuster was enough to make the Democrats, because of course it's the Democrats who usually capitulate.
No, it's not. No? It's not the Democrats. It's the legislative filibuster is what essentially made it so that at any given point they can say, I plan on filibustering this. And essentially just by saying that, they don't have to talk for hours. They don't have to do anything. Just by saying, I plan on filibustering it, automatically requires 60 votes.
Exactly.
That's why the filibuster is ridiculous.
Crazy. So that's why I wouldn't even mind the filibuster if it was the original filibuster. Like, I would love to see somebody talk against Medicare for all for 48 hours. Like, I dare you.
Hey, but Case, that's not even the original filibuster, just so you know. But you mean the previous filibuster.
No, that's the filibuster that Bernie Sanders is in favor of, by the way. The speaking filibuster.
Yeah, the speaking filibuster. That's what I'm talking about. I'd rather keep that one in place than the one that you just threaten a filibuster and then that's it. It's crazy. All right, I'm going to move on to this next clip. I like this clip. It's nothing like negative. I like what this guy said, who's usually...
What I'm saying is that
usually you hear establishment talk establishment stuff, but this was good.
President of the United States who says he wants to unite the country has to talk about both of them and has to talk about them, not just this broad sense of violence is bad, but then speak about all the rest of that. And I think that's what I'm talking about. And a real president who wants to unite the country will do that.
Matt? George? Let Matt go, and then you. So I'll listen. I'm not saying this that Chris is doing this, but it is incredibly frustrating to listen to so many Republicans talk about why isn't Biden talking about this and why isn't Biden, and we need unity and we need healing and we need fiscal level of responsibility. I mean, it is the triple crown American Pharaoh level of hypocrisy and dishonesty after what we've witnessed the last 4 years in division, in polarization, in no condemning of white supremacists and white nationalists throughout many Republicans who enabled this. So just give me a break about calling Joe Biden out for any of this right now because of what happened over the last 4 years. Yeah.
I love that, with the exception of him saying, I'm not saying you're saying this, Chris, because he is doing it too.
Yeah. He is saying it to Chris.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the Democrats, if they go in with a bold agenda and they get whatever passed and then they get destroyed in 2022, at least we got something out of it.
Yeah,
but if they just continue to listen to all this unity crap and we get nothing and they going to get destroyed in 2022, it's going to be the same cycle again.
No, John, if they really passed any meaningful legislation, especially if it was progressive legislation, and they really call these people out as being terrorists and say, I will not negotiate with you, and in fact, even try to bring charges or at least get these people removed from Congress, 2022 would be a blowout. So many people show, forget movie theaters and all that garbage that we were talking about before. 2022 would be an absolute blowout. People would be so motivated to come out and vote again on the Democratic side. And the Republican side wouldn't even be able to make a case. I mean, what case would they even have at that point? It would be an absolute blowout. I would love to see it, but I don't have any faith in the Democrats to be able to pull that messaging off.
Yep, 100%. Let me show this clip here.
Hoover, that's going to present a big challenge to Joe Biden. He's going to, in some ways, have to choose between size and speed. The bigger the package is, the harder it's going to be to get Republican support quickly. The smaller it is, he can get it out quickly and show tangible results for real Americans.
That's exactly right. And I think, if anybody can negotiate that, navigate that, look at the 50-50 Senate. And Joe Biden is a pragmatist and he knows how to negotiate. I think we're going to see a COVID package, and it won't be everything that Chuck Schumer and the progressives want, but it'll be a package that'll probably be more targeted, frankly, to the real businesses that need the relief rather than these blanket checks to everyone. Look, I have a lot of confidence in Joe Biden. He does get a little bit of a honeymoon period, and then we're going to be on to impeachment. I just have to say, reconciliation with what happened in the Republican Party is something that I suspect you're going to have Mitch McConnell and the Republicans go along and try to get a COVID deal done. But
I'm done listening to her. But the point I wanted to highlight was the fact that she said that they want to help real business that need the relief rather than these blanket checks to everybody. Where does she live? Like this girl is in a bubble where she doesn't see how many people that need these checks.
He lives in trickle-downia, where people actually believe that nonsense, that trickle-down economics works, when we all know that it's been well proven that is not the way to approach this situation.
I think there's a hint of truth in it, that some businesses do need real aid.
Of course.
But definitely not in the way that they explain. Not businesses making well over $1 billion in revenue every year.
Okay, but also note that she said instead of. I mean, she said take the money away from the people and give it to businesses. Exactly. I don't care what.
That's absurd. Yeah, no, that is absurd.
Exactly. All right, I'm gonna show this clip. This was a really good clip. That I was surprised.
People have not forgotten that promise, and they're going to hold them to it. It's no laughing matter for them. We know that there's so many folks who have lost jobs, and particularly women who are suffering, people of color who are suffering. So ultimately, I think it comes back to the American people and the constituents of these lawmakers who are saying, get it done by any means necessary. And I think you're going to have a lot of support, again, on the liberal Democrat side. And again, just everyday people who will say, do what you have to do to get it done, whether Republicans support it or not.
I mean, WWMD. What would Mitch do? If he had a swing vote, if it was a Republican vice president and Mitch McConnell were in charge with an evenly divided Senate with that swing vote of a Republican, what would he do, David?
Well, I mean, if your question is, would he just ram through reconciliation? Yeah, I mean, there's every evidence to suggest.
All right. Yeah, I love that part where she said, what would Mitch do? I saw you guys.
Exactly. What's the point of having that majority if you're not going to use it?
Out the gate, Mitch McConnell would have said, "We're doing reconciliation." What did he do with the justices? Well, we have so many examples of this guy going all the way to the extreme, using power at its full force, and here we have Biden coming in. Oh, we're going to try to deal with the other side and
Day one.
I just don't understand how is it been, again, I don't want to talk bad about him because it's Appreciation Week, but
we went from a segment to a show to a week.
But where's the check, man? Like, you could say, well, the Senate, whatever, you ran on check. You said day one, when I become president, people will get that check. So now they're worrying about confirmation and all this other stuff. And people are over there, has a very strong support from the people. Like, why hasn't the check gone out like this? I don't understand, what is Mitch McConnell and whatnot? The Democrats have the bill and Biden said he will sign it. They should have done that day one before any of the other stuff he done.
Yep,
well, everything he's doing everything he's doing have been executive order, so he doesn't need Congress for that. So they probably still got to work out the rules, before they could do all that stuff. Like I said before, just trying to be real here. I don't like Biden. First of all, Biden is not really saying much. Whenever he talks, a lot of the things we're saying, like, oh, he come out, he's not really saying all this stuff. It's Republicans saying stuff about him, and then there's the leftists saying this that we don't like about him. But Biden isn't saying much about. He talks about unity, but he's not saying he's going to give away the farm. So let's not, go overboard with the Biden hate either, man.
Not hate. What I'm saying is, he said that day one when they get the Senate. Yeah. They said this is what they ran on, and then this is what Georgia said. If day one, when we get the Senate, people will get their check. $2,000. We on day what day is it? 7?
5.
5. So we're on day 5. So all I'm saying is, you ran in a promise, you won based on that promise, and that's what people. I think that's what the lady was saying. That's what people will remember. Next time that you run on something, the vote may take 2 months. It may take 1 month. It's not going to be really one day. So
yeah.
All right. So let's talk to Chuck about that.
We got 2 minutes left.
Chuck and the liberals. Did you hear that part? That
Chuck
was
and the
one
progressive. Chuck and the progressive.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, how do you try to lump in Chuck Schumer, who is as center right as they come?
Let me try to put in this last clip.
On legislation.
Notice how it starts off.
Meet the Press data download, brought to you by Pfizer.
Wow.
Welcome back, data download time. A new president and new congressional makeup. Same old partisan divides, right? Yes and no. There's the traditional red-blue divide you're very familiar with, but there's a lot more below the surface going on in both parties. Let's set the table. About 4 in 10 registered voters identify either as Democrats or lean Democratic in the latest NBC News poll. It's a little fewer than that identify as Republicans or lean Republicans on the other side. The remainder are what we call the very hard independents, or people that simply don't care to answer. But if you dig into those two partisan groups, you in fact find that 4 political parties are emerging in the data. Let me show you. 17% consider themselves to be mostly supporters of former President Donald Trump. We're going to call them the Trump Republicans. Another 17% call themselves supporters of the Republican Party more so than Donald Trump. The traditional Republican, another 17%, as you see there. Now let's look at the other side of the aisle. 17% say they are Democrats who support Joe Biden in the primaries. We're going to call them the Biden Democrats. Another 17% supported more left-leaning candidates, Senators Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren.
All right, I'm going to end it there pretty much. But I thought that was an interesting little breakdown that he did there. What you guys think?
Chuck Todd make me miss Tim Russert.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
he's the worst. He's just the worst.
He is.
Grotesque guy. Do you think that we can have a third party that can kind of get traction? Do you guys think ever?
Movement for a People's Party, peoplesparty.org.
There will never be a third party without ranked choice voting.
Okay.
And they wouldn't pass ranked choice voting because that would kill the two-party system.
Hey, listen. There's hope. There's
Republican.
Hope. If the Republicans come out with the Patriot Party, then the People's Party could come right afterwards, man.
Watch the Republicans come out with a third party before us, and watch the Patriots Party eliminate the Republican Party.
Oh my God!
You heard it here first.
It's like what the lady says. What will Mitch McConnell do, right? So Mitch McConnell is going to go in and be like, "Yep,
they're going to jump ship. They're all going to go to the Patriot Party, and the Republican Party is going to go down the tank." Watch. You heard it here first.
But the thing is, that gives Dems 10 years of W's.
Listen, that's not. In all reality, that's not going to happen. That party is going. They could come out with the party. They're going to primary Republicans, and then all the Republicans going to line up to whoever wins that.
Felipe, it's not going to be W's when Mitch McConnell decides to become a Democrat. Because
I wouldn't doubt it.
We're going to go on this last one. I want to show, this is a very short clip, but I think it's fitting.
The U.S. State Department, the EU, and the British Foreign Secretary have all condemned Russia for using force against opposition protesters. Tens of thousands of people demonstrated across the country Saturday. Hundreds of people were detained, and police were seen wielding batons on the crowd. The protesters were demanding the release of opposition leader Alexei Navalny. His arrest last week sparked widespread outrage.
U.S. State.
Is that Flint, Michigan?
I know, right?
Is that Washington, D.C. last year?
Listen, the U.S. won't say it, but there were international organizations saying the same thing about us last summer.
Oh,
that's exactly it. Like, you look at that clip and you want to shake your head, but at the same time, I mean, there may have been a time in our history, in our past, when we were able to shake our head, but after the events of this last year or two, that almost looks tame. Almost.
Yeah. Well, if you guys saw the video of the recent, I forgot the name of the town, but the cops literally ran over people. Like the car, you could see the car going over.
Yeah, it was called New York City last year.
Yeah.
And then again, it happened, and I forget the name of the town too. I just remember the NYPD did the same thing last year.
Yeah. I don't think they rolled over somebody though, did they?
Oh,
they hit people. Did you not see the clip?
I know. I saw when they hit people, but like this car from I think it was 2 days ago, like literally went up and down over like a speed bump, like over people's bodies, and they had tire marks.
So Charlottesville, then I mean, it's like
yeah,
I know it wasn't the
Charlottesville.
police, but still, like we have our history of doing crazy stuff now that we would have never imagined we would ever be that country. Now we see it in the news, and it's like we're not even shocked by it anymore because that's home.
Imagine that's the new normal. Like when cops roll over protesters, they were like, that's our.
It happened last week again.
Yeah,
that's what Case was talking about.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah,
it happens so often, man. I lose track.
And it's like, that's the police brand, the American brand of policing. That's our police brutality. There's nothing you can do. You complain about it, the union president is going to have a conference. The mayor's not going to do anything. It's crazy. But all right, any last words? I want to shout out the people in the chats. You guys have the chat open. Let's shout out people.
Yeah, let's so we had a good conversation going back and forth today from some of our usuals. Nancy, the Love Always, we got Erica, Robert Wilson, Pamela, who else we got in the chat? We got
Alan's been going off.
Yeah,
Alan, shout out to Alan.
He's been
throwing heat today.
Mia, we heard from her once today. She got a question wrong, and then she was like, all right, I'm over this. I think that's everybody. But yeah, Destiny Cathedral. Sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, great chat overall. Alan's been spitting hot fire today.
Nice. Marco can never claim to be democracy. So there's
Gamer John on Twitch too was talking about unity and commonalities, man. So it's good to keep some positivity too.
Yep. Much love to everybody in the chat. Much love. This is another show. Meet us here again next Monday, 8:00, same time, same hour. Any last words from my peoples? Any last burning? Anything you want to say? No.
Go
OT.
back to brunch. Pay attention. Hold the Democrats accountable. Don't let them get too comfortable with your vote. Hold them accountable to the things that they said they would do.
Yeah. All right. I didn't give a shout out to my PSA people, so I'm just going to do it right now. NinaTurner.com/hello. Go give some coins. And we got Gary Chambers, who's also in a special election coming up. He's the progressive in the race. He's officially the people's champ. There's another person who's for Medicare for all, but I heard bad things about that person. Who else? What we got? Voters Choice NJ, ranked choice voting in New Jersey. And
Raphael Warnock in Georgia, he's already running again because he took over a seat that was
special election, right?
Right. So, but even before that, the seat was vacated. So Kelly Loeffler, she had never won. She was given the seat by the governor of Georgia. So this term is cut short regardless. So he's already started running the campaign for the election.
He's up in 2022.
Yeah.
Carlito, so if you were his campaign manager, you're living in Atlanta right now in Georgia, what would you tell him? What would be a secret sauce to that will help him prevail again?
Listen, the same thing I say everybody, man. If you just talk to the people and do what the people want and not the special interests, because they're the ones that are going to come out for you and get out there. They already started, reaching out. So they got to keep the pressure from now, letting people know, and also let them know what they're doing. Like, hurry up, pass some legislation so they have something to talk about that he actually did for people.
We need those $2,000 checks.
Their money. Send that to people them check.
Send those checks.
Well, do something. And you get, you get a little coin.
This is an idea that I also had, Carlito. Like, divert. Usually people raise a lot of money, you know, candidates raise a lot of money to put it into TV ads. I would raise like $5 million and then provide people with $15 an hour jobs, people who don't have any jobs right now. Make sure they are for you, of course, you got to find out, but put them in all the different areas of Georgia. So in the urban areas, suburbs, and, you know, in the rural areas, and have like little mini like office. Well, in the day of COVID, you can't have really storefront offices, but just try to spread the wealth that way and have them be your advocate in that area. What you think about that?
I like that, man, because if you keep in people's faces, they're going to remember you when it's time to vote.
Exactly. And that'll be their full-time job. I'm paying you $15 an hour, 5 days a week. Go just talk to people about me and my agenda. You know, we'll see if that works. All right. Anything else from my people? I don't want to miss anybody else. Nope. All right. This was a great show. I had fun with everybody. And you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, spending time. Much love. And everyone have a great week. Peace.
Later.